Hey there guys, Isaac here with the 5 Diamond Group at eXp Realty, and a lot of you guys have been working from home. Some of you guys may have gone back to your offices, and I know some of you guys have been told that you're not going to be going back anytime soon. You guys are going to wait it out and you're still working at home. And so I wanted to shoot this quick video because I just got this in yesterday in the mail. It came in. It's the Thunderbolt Dock by OWC. So we're going to talk a little bit about what this does, why I love it, why I went with this one. And so before, I wanted to show you what my desk looked like. And so you're seeing these photos or these videos, and it's just kind of messy. You can see the cables. It just doesn't look clean. For me, that's huge. I like very clean. Even though I have a lot on my desk, I try to keep it as minimalist as possible. I feel like the less clutter I have, the more productive I can be. And so with all these cables all over, it just causes anxiety for me. So I try to clean up as best as possible. So unfortunately, my Thunderbolt 3 dock went out, and actually the dock didn't go out, the power supply went out. And so I had to wiggle it and get it in the right spot, and you know, once I got it in the right spot, it was working, but if I moved it just a tad bit, it would stop working. So finally, after troubleshooting, I realized that it wasn't the actual dock, it was the power supply. It must have gone kinked somewhere, and it was just costing me a lot of headaches. So I reached out to OWC and let them know what the issue was. They sent me a shipping label immediately. I put it in the box, sent it out via UPS. They received it, they inspected it, and then they notified me that, hey, yep, you're right, we're sending you a new one. And then I got this one in yesterday. The only downside to it was that I did have to wait almost 2 weeks for me to send it back, get it, for them to inspect it and get it back. So that was my only negative on that, but customer service was great. They were able to handle my problem really easily. They just asked a few questions. So I definitely recommend it, especially when you're buying something in this price range. You want to make sure that you're going to be well taken care of if something goes wrong. You don't want to be having to, escalate it, and that's just a hassle for both them and you. So I'm really happy with their customer service. So I'm definitely recommending this product. And no, they're not sponsoring this. They're not in any way affiliated. But I just wanted to create this video because I really love this product. So what does it do? Well, it's here's this little document, but it's a Thunderbolt 3 dock. So Thunderbolt versus USB-C is very different. Thunderbolt 3 specifically has very high transfer speeds versus USB-C. So we're talking about like up to, I want to say like 40 gigabits per second is, I believe, is what it can handle. That's insanely fast when you consider what USB-A or even a USB-C cable can do. But more than that, for me, it's my MacBook Pro 16-inch is my everyday computer. I take it on the go. I sometimes go to the living room, work from there, the kitchen, or somewhere else. And so having to plug in everything that I have on my desk is a hassle. Which is why I got the Thunderbolt 3. So I have my clip speakers, which are USB powered. USB connected. My Behringer interface, which connects to my Shure microphone, gives me the best sound quality, which is why I love it. So it goes from analog to digital. I have my Brio 4K webcam. If you're looking at a new webcam, definitely recommend this 4K Logitech Brio webcam. I also have my hard drive. I have I want to say a 5 terabyte hard drive underneath the desk, mounted using these command strips, which are actually meant for frames, but they handle quite some weight. I want to say they handle up to like 12 pounds of weight. So my hard drive is probably only like 3 or 4 pounds. So it's more than enough. It's got 2 on there, so double the strength, double the capacity on it. So I don't have to worry about it falling off ever, hopefully. And so I got a lot of devices connected to this device, to this. My monitor actually has a USB 2.0 hub on there, which is where I connect the interface and the speakers because they don't need 3.0. So I try to free up as many 3.0 ports as possible. The Brio Cam does require a 3.0 connection, so it does have that on there. And then my hard drive is also a 3.0 connection. So this has 4 in the rear, 4 USB 3.1 actually connections. It's got an optical audio out, so you can connect something like these higher end speakers. It's got an Ethernet port, which to me that's kind of really important because I'm paying for the highest speed internet that my internet provider provides, and so I want to take advantage of that. I don't want to be limited by Wi-Fi, and sometimes Wi-Fi can get glitchy, so having it hardwired is to me the best, so I can clock speeds of up to 1,000 gigabits per second. So it's insanely fast, and I want to really take advantage of that. It's got 2 Thunderbolt connections. One of them actually goes to the computer via this cable here. It's a one connection, so this one connection powers anything that you connect to the dock, and it also provides power. So you notice I have the lid closed, and so it's still powering my monitor, and this is kind of usually how I have it because I like to be focused, and my 32-inch monitor, it has enough space on there for me to put multiple items on there, so I can have multiple windows, and if you know Mac, you can just kind of swipe through the different windows. And so that's that. And like I mentioned, I have it's got another Thunderbolt there for a Thunderbolt monitor. So that's actually a Thunderbolt to HDMI cable. That's how I have this monitor connected. But you can also connect a second display using a mini display port to HDMI, or mini display port to display port, just depending on what your monitor has. And so you can connect 2 4K monitors or 1 5K monitor. So that means it should be able to power essentially a Mac or the Apple HDR Pro monitor, or like an LG one of those 4K displays or 5K displays, I'm sorry. And so this is why, to me, this is very important because if I need to run, if I need to get out and meet with a client and I'm going to take my computer, all I do is I unplug it. Now, OWC, you can download a software, a hard drive ejector. And so what it does is any USB drive or hard drive that you may have plugged into it, it actually finds it, ejects it properly, so that way you don't damage it. So it's a one button instead of having to go through each single drive that you have if you have multiple drives and having to eject all of them one by one. So it just saves you time. Be honest, sometimes I forget to do that and I just unplug it and go. It's not the best thing that you should be doing, but when I do remember, I do use that dock ejector. And so this saves me a lot of time. It saves me a lot of hassle. I just love the convenience of it. Now you're probably thinking, well, I don't have a MacBook. I'm not looking to get a MacBook, or I don't like Apple. Well, if you have a Microsoft Surface, which is probably the only other computer that I would recommend or would want to get, well, they have the Microsoft Dock, and I believe there's a Dock 2 now, which has USB-C connections. And so that does essentially the same thing. It plugs in through the power cable, powers your computer up. You can connect 2 displays. You can connect multiple USBs. It's got audio outs. It's got just multiple things for different connections. So you can essentially do the same thing with any of your Surface computers, whether it's the Surface Book, the Surface Pro, or the Surface laptop. And it just makes it that much more convenient, especially if you're in a work setting and you have to go out and about and meet with clients. Now, if you're completely settled in, well, there may be other options that are cheaper. For examples, what I was using previously, what you saw on the previous videos, was this here by Hyperdrive. It's a dual USB-C specifically for Macs, but they have them for other computers. And it's got 2 USB 3.0s, it's got an SD card, a micro SD card, and it's got a 2 Thunderbolt connections as well as HDMI. So this is my go-to device when I'm out and about. So in case I need to plug in a hard drive or a USB drive, or I need to do a presentation, I have an HDMI output, because HDMI is a lot easier to find than it will be a USB-C or mini display port or any of those other items. So this is my go-to. It comes in with a leather pouch here, and so I just throw it in my bag. It is aluminum, so I don't have to really be careful or have to worry about it breaking. It's not very fragile, so that's my go-to. There's also a monitor by HP that will plug in or it can be used as a dock. It's a one connection as well, one cable, and it has Ethernet connections, it's got USB ports, and you can also piggyback it with another monitor. So if you want to have dual displays, you can actually power another monitor as well and have even more ports. Of course, that's going to be in the higher price point, but you're also getting a monitor. So if you're in the market for a new monitor and you might be considering a dock, that might be a good option for you. And so I'll leave all those links below in the description below. But this is essentially what makes me a little bit more productive, or at least I feel like I'm more productive, because there's less clutter and I don't have to worry about coming and plugging in a million things or unplugging them when I run out. 14 ports on this is more than enough. There is a smaller dock than this one, I believe is a 10 port. And so if you don't need this many ports, well, then you can go with the 10 port. But the 14 port for me, I'd rather have more and not need them than need them and not have them. So I hope this video helps. I hope this video gives you a little bit of insight on this dock on a real world example. A lot of the reviews that I've seen, they're just kind of explaining what the dock does. I kind of wanted to give you guys an insight of how I use it as a business professional, as many of you that you are watching. And so if you have any questions, regarding any of the gear that you saw, please drop it in the comments below. I'll be doing a few more videos on this, on tech, because I love technology and I love to implement it in my business to make it myself even more productive. So again, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll catch you guys on the next video.